Maud. A Monodrama. Alfred. Lord Tennyson. Part I hate the dreadful hollow behind the little wood, its lips in the field above are dabbled with blood-red heath, the red-ribbed ledges drip with the silent horror of blood, an echo there, whatever is asked her, answers death. 2. For there in the ghastly pit long since a body was found, his who had given me life, O Father. O God! Was it well? Mangled, and flattened and crushed and dinted into the ground, there yet lies the rock that fell with him when he fell. 3. Did he fling himself down? Who knows? For vast speculation had failed and ever he muttered and maddened and ever waned with despair, and not he walked when the wind like a broken whirling wailed and the flying gold of the ruined woodlands drove through the air. 4. I remember the time, for the roots of my hair were stirred by a shuffled step, by a dead weight trailed by a whispered fright, and my pulses closed their gates with a shock on my heart as I heard the shrill-edged shriek of a mother divide the shuddering night. Villainy somewhere. Whose? One says, we are villains all. Not he, his honest fame should at least by me be maintained, but that old man, now lord of the broad estate and the hall, dropped off gorged from a scheme that had left us flaccid and drained. 6. Why do they prate of the blessings of peace? We have made them a curse, pickpockets, each hand lusting for all that is not its own. And lust of gain, in the spirit of Cain, is it better or worse than the heart of the citizen hissing in war on his own hearthstone? 7. But these are the days of advance, the works of the men of mind, when who but a fool would have faith in a tradesman as where are his word? Is it peace or war? Civil war, as I think, and that of a kind of iler, as underhand, not openly bearing the sword. 8. Sooner or later I too may passively take the print of the golden age, why not? I have neither hope nor trust, may make my heart as a millstone, set my face as a flint, cheat and be cheated, and die, who knows? We are ashes and dust. 9. Peace sitting under her olive, and slurring the days gone by, when the poor are huddled and hustled together, each sex, like swine, when only the ledger lives, and when only not all men lie. Peace in her vineyard, yes. But a company forges the wine. And the vitriol madness flushes up in the ruffian's head, till the filthy by-lane rings to the yell of the trampled wife, and chalk and alum and plaster are sold to the poor for bread, and the spirit of murder works in the very means of life. 11. And sleep must lie down armed, for the villainous center bits grind on the wakeful ear in the hush of the moonless nights, while another is cheating the sick of a few last gasps, as he sits to pestle a poison behind his crimson lights. 12. When a Mammonite mother kills her babe for a burial fee, and Timor Mammon grins on a pile of children's bones, is it peace or war? Better, war. Loud war by land and by sea, war with 1,000 battles, and shaking 100 thrones. 13. For I trust if an enemy's fleet came yonder round by the hill, and the rushing battle bolt sang from the 3-decker out of the foam, that the smooth-faced snub-nosed rogue would leap from his counter and strike, if he could, were it but with his cheating yardwind, home. 14. What? Am I raging alone as my father raged in his mood? Must I too creep to the hollow and dash myself down and die rather than hold by the law that I made, nevermore to brood on a horror of shattered limbs and a wretched swindler's lie? 15. Would there be sorrow for me? There was love in the passionate shriek, love for the silent thing that had made false haste to the grave wrapped in a cloak, as I saw him, and thought he would rise and speak and rave at the lie and the liar, our God, as he used to rave. 16. I am sick of the hall and the hill, I am sick of the moor and the main. Why should I stay? Can a sweeter chance ever come to me here? Oh, having the nerves of motion as well as the nerves of pain, were it not wise if I fled from the place and the pit and the fear? 17. Workmen up at the hall. They are coming back from abroad. The dark old place will be gilt by the touch of a millionaire. I have heard, I know not whence, of the singular beauty of Maud. I played with the girl when a child. She promised then to be fair. 18. Maud with her venturous climbings and tumbles and childish escapes, Maud the delight of the village, the ringing joy of the hall, Maud with her sweet purse mouth when my father dangled the grapes, Maud the beloved of my mother, the moon-faced darling of all. 19. What is she now? My dreams are bad. She may bring me a curse. No, there is fatter game on the moor. She will let me alone. Thanks, for the fiend best knows whether woman or man be the worse. I will bury myself in myself, and the devil may pipe to his own. Too long have I sighed deep for a calm, God grant I may find it at last. It will never be broken by Maud, she has neither savour nor salt, but a cold and clear-cut face, as I found when her carriage passed, perfectly beautiful. Let it be granted her. Where is the fault? All that I saw, for her eyes were downcast, not to be seen. Faultily faultless, icily regular, splendidly null, dead perfection, no more. Nothing more, if it had not been for a chance of travel, a paleness, an hour's defect of the rose, or an underlip, you may call it a little too ripe, too full, or the least little delicate aquiline curve in a sensitive nose, from which I escaped heart-free, with the least little touch of spleen. 3. Cold and clear-cut face, why come you so cruelly meek, breaking a slumber in which all spleenful folly was drowned? D. Pale with the golden beam of an eyelash dead on the cheek, passionless, pale, cold face, star-sweet on a gloom profound. Woman-like, taking revenge too deep for a transient wrong done, but in thought to your beauty, and ever as pale as before, growing and fading and growing upon me without a sound, luminous, gem-like, ghost-like, death-like, half the night long growing and fading and growing, till I could bear it no more, but arose, and all by myself in my own dark garden ground, listening now to the tide in its broad-flung shipwrecking roar, now to the scream of a mountain beach dragged down by the wave, walked in a wintry wind by a ghastly glimmer, and found the shining daffodil dead, and Orion low in his grave. 4. A million emeralds break from the ruby-budded lime in the little grove where I sit. Ah, wherefore cannot I be like things of the season gay, like the bountiful season bland, when the far-off sail is blown by the breeze of a softer clime, half lost in the liquid azure bloom of a crescent of sea, the silent sapphire-spangled marriage ring of the land? 2. Below me, there, is the village, and looks how quiet and small, and yet bubbles o'er like a city, with gossip, scandal, and spite. And Jack on his alehouse bench has as many lies as are. And here on the landward side, by a red rock, glimmers the Holland. Up in the high hall garden I see her pass like a light. But sorrow sees me if ever that light be my leading star. 3. When have I bowed to her father, the wrinkled head of the race? I met her today with her brother, but not to her brother I bowed. I bowed to his lady sister as she rode by on the moor. But the fire of a foolish pride flashed over her beautiful face. Oh child, you wrong your beauty, believe it, in being so proud. Your father has wealth well gotten, and I am nameless and poor. 4. I keep but a man and a maid, ever ready to slander and steal. I know it, and smile a heart-set smile, like a stoic, or like a wiser Epicurean, and let the world have its way, for nature is one with rapine, a harm no preacher can heal. The mayfly is torn by the swallow, the sparrow speared by the shrike, and the whole little wood where I sit is a world of plunder and prey. We are puppets, man in his pride, and beauty fair in her flower. Do we move ourselves, or are moved by an unseen hand at a game that pushes us off from the board, and others ever succeed? Yet, we cannot be kind to each other here for an hour? We whisper, and hint, and chuckle, and grin at a brother's shame. However we brave it out, we men are a little breed. 6. A monstrous eft was of Ode the Lord and Master of Earth, for him did his high sun flame, and his river billowing ran, and he felt himself in his force to be nature's crowning race. As 9 months go to the shaping an infant ripe for his birth, so many a million of ages have gone to the making of man. He now is first, but is he the last? Is he not too base? 7. The man of science himself is fonder of glory, and vain, an eye well practiced in nature, a spirit bounded and poor. The passionate heart of the poet is worldly into folly and vice. I would not marvel at either, but keep a temperate brain. For not to desire or admire, if a man could learn it, were more than to walk all day like the Sultan of old in a garden of spice. 8. For the drift of the Maker is dark, and us is hid by the veil. Who knows the ways of the world, how God will bring them about? Our planet is one, the suns are many, the world is wide. Shall I weep if a Poland fall? Shall I shriek if a Hungary fail? Or an infant civilization be ruled with rot or with gnat? I have not made the world, and he that made it will guide. 9. Be mine a philosopher's life in the quiet woodland ways, where if I cannot beguile at a passionless peace be my lot, far off from the clamour of liars belied and the hubbub of lies. From the long-necked geese of the world that are ever hissing dispraise because their natures are little, and, whether he heed it or not, where each man walks with his head in a cloud of poisonous flies. And most of all would I flee from the cruel madness of love, the honey of poisoned flowers and all the measureless ill. Ah Maud, you milk-white fawn, you are all unmeet for a wife. Your mother is mute in her grave as her image in marble above. Your father is ever in London, you wander about at your will. You have but fed on the roses and lain in the lilies of life. Via a voice by the cedar tree in the meadow under the hall. She is singing an air that is known to me, a passionate ballad gallant and gay, a martial song like a trumpet's call. Singing alone in the morning of life, in the happy morning of life and of May, singing of men that in battle array, ready in heart and ready in hand, march with banner and bugle and fife to the death, for their native land. 2. Maud with her exquisite face, and wild voice pealing up to the sunny sky, and feet like sunny gems on an English green, Maud in the light of her youth and her grace, singing of death, and of honor that cannot die, till I well could weep for a time so sordid and mean, and myself so languid and base. 3. Silence, beautiful voice. Be still, for you only trouble the mind with the joy in which I cannot rejoice, a glory I shall not find. Still, I will hear you no more, for your sweetness hardly leaves me a choice but to move to the meadow and fall before her feet on the meadow grass, and adore, not her, who is neither courtly nor kind, not her, but a voice. 6. Morning rises stormy and pale, no sun, but a wannish glare and fold upon fold of hueless cloud, and the budded peaks of the wood are bowed caught and cuffed by the gale. I had fancied it would be fair. 2. Whom but Maud should I meet last night, when the sunset burned on the blossomed gable and set the head of the village street, whom but Maud should I meet? And she touched my hand with a smile so sweet, she made me divine amends for a courtesy not returned. 3. And thus a delicate spark of glowing and growing light through the livelong hours of the dark kept itself warm in the heart of my dreams, ready to burst in a colored flame. Till at last when the morning came in a cloud, it faded, and seems but an ashen gray delight. 4. What if with her sunny hair, and smile as sunny as cold, she meant to weave me a snare of some coquettish deceit, Cleopatra-like as if to entangle me when we met, to have her lie and roll in a silken net and fawn at a victor's feet. What shall I be at 50 should nature keep me alive, if I find the world so bitter when I am but 25? Yet, if she were not a cheat, if Maud were all that she seemed, and her smile were all that I dreamed, then the world were not so bitter, but a smile could make it sweet. 6. What if though her eyes seemed full of a kind intent to me, what if that dandy despot, that jeweled mass of millinery, that oiled and curled Assyrian bull smelling of musk and of insolence, her brother, from whom I keep aloof, who wants the finer politic sense to mask, though but in his own booth, with a glassy smile his brutal scorn, what if he had told her yestermorn how prettily for his own sweet sake a face of tenderness might be feigned, and a moist mirage in desert eyes, that so, when the rotten hustings shake in another month to his brazen lies, a wretched vote may be gained. 7. For a raven ever croaks, at my side, keep watch and ward, or thou wilt prove their tool. Yea, too, myself from myself I guard, for often a man's own angry pride is cap and bells for a fool. 8. Perhaps the smile and tender tone came out of her pitying womanhood, for am I not, here alone so many a summer since she died, my mother, who is so gentle and good? Living alone in an empty house, here half hid in the gleaming wood, where I hear the dead at midday moan, and the shrieking rush of the wainscot mouse, and my own sad name in corners cried, when the shiver of dancing leaves is thrown about its echoing chambers wide, till a morbid hate and horror have grown of a world in which I have hardly mixed, and a morbid eating lichen fixed on the heart half turned to stone. 9. O heart of stone, are you flesh, and caught by that you swore to withstand? For what was it else within me wrought but, I fear, the new strong wine of love, that made my tongue so stammer and trip when I saw the treasured splendor, her hand, come sliding out of her sacred glove, and the sunlight broke from her lip? I have played with her when a child. She remembers it now we meet. Ah well, 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 I may be beguiled by some coquettish deceit. Yet, if she were not a cheat, if Maud were all that she seemed, and her smile had all that I dreamed, then the world were not so bitter, but a smile could make it sweet. 7. Did I hear it half in a doze long since, I know not where? Did I dream it an hour ago, when asleep in this armchair? 2. Men were drinking together, drinking and talking of me. Well, if it prove a girl, the boy will have plenty, so let it be. 3. Is it an echo of something read with a boy's delight, viziers nodding together in some Arabian night? 4. Strange, that I hear two men, somewhere, talking of me. Well, if it prove a girl, my boy will have plenty, so let it be. 8. She came to the village church, and sat by a pillar alone. An angel watching an urn wept over her, carved in stone. And once, but once, she lifted her eyes, and suddenly, sweetly, strangely blushed to find they were met by my own. And suddenly, sweetly, my heart beat stronger and thicker, until I heard no longer the snowy-banded, dilettante, delicate-handed priest intone, and thought, is it pride, and mused and sighed, no surely, now it cannot be pride. 9. I was walking a mile, more than a mile from the shore, the sun looked out with a smile betwixt the cloud and the moor, and riding at set of day over the dark moorland, rapidly riding far away, she waved to me with her hand. There were two at her side, something flashed in the sun, down by the hill I saw them ride, in a moment they were gone, like a sudden spark struck vainly in the night, then returns the dark with no more hope of light. Am I sick of a jealous dread? Was not one of the two at her side this new my-lord, whose splendor plucks the slavish hat from the villager's head? Whose old grandfather has lately died, gone to a blacker pit, for whom grimy nakedness dragging his trucks and laying his trams in a poisoned gloom wrought, till he crept from a gutted mine master of half a servile shire, and left his coal all turned into gold till grandson, first of his noble line, rich in the grace all women desire, strong in the power that all men adore, and simper and set their voices lower, and soften as if to a girl, and hold awe-stricken breaths at a work divine, seeing his Guga castle shine, new as his title, built last year, there amid perky larches and pine, and over the sullen purple moor. Look at it, pricking a cockney ear. 2. What, has he found my jewel out? For one of the two that rode at her side bound for the hall, I am sure was he, bound for the hall, and I think for a bride. Blithe would her brother's acceptance be. Maud could be gracious too, no doubt, to a lord, a captain, a padded shape, a bought commission, a waxen face, a rabbit mouth that is ever agape. But what is it he cannot buy? And therefore splenetic, personal, base, a wounded thing with a rancorous cry, at war with myself and a wretched race, sick, sick to the heart of life, am I. 3. Last week came one to the county town, to preach our poor little army down, and play the game of the despot kings, though the state has done it and thrice as well, this broad-brimmed hawker of holy things, whose ears crammed with his cotton, and rings even in dreams to the chink of his pence, this huckster put down war. Can he tell whether war be a cause or a consequence? Put down the passions that make earth hell. Down with ambition, avarice, pride, jealousy, down. Cut off from the mind the bitter springs of anger and fear. Down too, down at your own fireside, with the evil tongue and the evil ear, for each is at war with mankind. 4. I wish I could hear again the chivalrous battle song that she warbled alone in her joy. I might persuade myself then she would not do herself this great wrong, to take a wanton dissolute boy for a man and leader of men. Via God, for a man with heart, head, hand, like some of the simple great ones gone forever and ever by, one still strong man in a blatant land, whatever they call him, what Harriet, aristocrat, democrat, autocrat, one who can rule and dare not lie. 6. Enough for a man to arise in me, that the man I am may cease to be. 11. I'll let the solid ground not fail beneath my feet before my life has found what some have found so sweet. Then let come what come may, what matter if I go mad, I shall have had my day. 2. Let the sweet heavens endure, not close and darken above me before I am quite sure that there is one to love me. Then let come what come may to a life that has been so sad, I shall have had my day. 12. I birds in the high hall garden when twilight was falling, Maud, 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 they were crying and calling. 2. Where was Maud? In our wood. And I, who else, was with her, gathering woodland lilies, myriads blow together. 3. Birds in our wood sang ringing through the valleys, Maud is here, here, here in among the lilies. 4. I kissed her slender hand, she took the kiss sedately. Maud is not 17, but she is tall and stately. Vi to cry out on pride who have won her favor. O Maud were sure of heaven if lowliness could save her. 6. I know the way she went home with her maiden posy, for her feet have touched the meadows and left the daisies rosy. 7. Birds in the high hall garden were crying and calling to her, where is Maud, Maud, Maud? One is come to woo her. 8. Look, a horse at the door, and little King Charlie snarling, go back, my lord, across the moor, you are not her darling. 13. I scorn to be scorned by one that I scorn, is that a matter to make me fret? That a calamity hard to be borne? Well, he may live to hate me yet. Fool that I am to be vexed with his pride. I passed him, I was crossing his lance. He stood on the path a little aside. His face, as I grand, in spite of spite, has a broad-blown comeliness, red and white, and 6 feet 2, as I think, he stands. But his senses turned the live air sick, and barbarous opulence jewel thick sunned itself on his breast and his hands. 2. Who shall call me ungentle, unfair, along so heartily then and there to give him the grasp of fellowship? But while I passed he was humming an air, stopped, and then with a riding whip leisurely tapping a glossy boot, and curving a contumelious lip, gorgonized me from head to foot with a stony British stare. 3. Why sits he here in his father's chair? That old man never comes to his place, shall I believe him ashamed to be seen? For only once, in the village street, last year, I caught a glimpse of his face, a grey old wolf and a lean. Scarcely, now, would I call him a cheat. For then, perhaps, as a child of deceit, she might by a true descent be untrue. And Maud is as true as Maud is sweet, though I fancy her sweetness only due to the sweeter blood by the other side. Her mother has been a thing complete, however she came to be so lied. And fair without, faithful within, Maud to him is nothing akin, some peculiar mystic grace made her only the child of her mother, and heaped the whole inherited sin on that huge scapegoat of the race, all upon the brother. 4. Peace, angry spirit, and let him be. Has not his sister smiled on me? 14. Maud has a garden of roses and lilies fair on the lawn. There she walks in her state and tends upon bed and bower, and thither I climbed at dawn and stood by her garden gate. A lion rams at the top, he is clasped by a passion flower. 2. Maud's own little oak room, which Maud, like a precious stone set in the heart of the carven gloom, lights with herself. When alone she sits by her music and books, and her brother lingers late with a roistering company, looks upon Maud's own garden gate, and I thought as I stood, if a hand, as white as ocean foam in the moon, were laid on the hasp of the window, and my delight had a sudden desire, like a glorious ghost, to glide, like a beam of the seventh heaven, down to my side, there were but a step to be made. 3. The fancy flattered my mind, and again seemed overbold. Now I thought that she cared for me, now I thought she was kind only because she was cold. 4. I heard no sound where I stood but the rivulet on from the lawn running down to my own dark wood, or the voice of the long sea wave as it swelled now and then in the dim grey dawn. But I looked and round, all round the house I beheld the death-white curtain drawn. Felt a horror over me creep, prickle my skin and catch my breath, knew that the death-white curtain meant but sleep, yet I shuddered and thought like a fool of the sleep of death. 15 So dark a mind within me dwells, and I make myself such evil cheer, that if I be dear to someone else, then someone else may have much to fear. But if I be dear to someone else, then I should be to myself more dear. Shall I not take care of all that I think, yea even of wretched meat and drink, if I be dear to someone else? 16 This lump of earth has left his estate the lighter by the loss of his weight, and so that he find what he went to seek, and fool some pleasure clog him, and drown his heart in the gross mud honey of town, he may stay for a year who is gone for a week, but this is the day when I must speak, and I see my Ariat coming down, oh this is the day. Oh beautiful creature, what am I that I dare to look her way? Think I may hold dominion sweet, lord of the pulse that is lord of her breast, and dream of her beauty with tender dread, from the delicate Arab arch of her feet to the grace that, bright and light as the crest of a peacock, sits on her shining head, and she knows it not. Oh, if she knew it, to know her beauty might half undo it. I know it the one bright thing to save my yet young life in the wilds of time, perhaps from madness, perhaps from crime, perhaps from a selfish grave. 2. What, if she be fastened to this fool lord, dare I bid her abide by her word? Should I love her so well if she had given her word to a thing so low? Shall I love her as well if she can break her word were it even for me? I trust that it is not so. 3. Catch not my breath, O clamorous heart, let not my tongue be a thrall to my eye, for I must tell her before we part, I must tell her, or die. 17 Go not, happy day, from the shining fields go not, happy day, till the maiden yields. Rosy is the west, rosy is the south, roses are her cheeks, and a rose her mouth when the happy yes falters from her lips, pass and blush the news over glowing ships. Over blowing seas, over seas at rest, pass the happy news, blush it thro' the west. Till the red man dance by his red cedar tree, and the red man yes babe leap, beyond the sea. Blush from west to east, blush from east to west, till the west is east, blush it thro' the west. Rosy is the west, rosy is the south, roses are her cheeks, and a rose her mouth. 18 I have led her home, my love, my only friend. There is none like her, none. And never yet so warmly ran my blood and sweetly, on and on calming itself to the long-wished for end, full to the banks, close on the promised good. 2. None like her, none. Just now the dry-tongued laurel's pattering talk seemed her light foot along the garden walk, and shook my heart to think she comes once more. But even then I heard her close the door, the gates of heaven are closed, and she is gone. 3. There is none like her, none. None will be when our summers have deceased. Oh, art thou sighing for Lebanon in the long breeze that streams to thy delicious east, sighing for Lebanon, dark cedar, though thy limbs have here uncreased, upon a pastoral slope as fair, and looking to the south, and fed with honey-dew rain and delicate air, and haunted by the starry head of her whose gentle will has changed my fate, and made my life a perfumed altar flame, and over whom thy darkness must have spread with such delight as theirs of old, thy great forefathers of the thornless garden, there shadowing the snow-limbed Eve from whom she came. 4. Here will I lie, while these long branches sway, and you fair stars that crown a happy day go in and out as if at merry play, who am no more so all forlorn, as when it seemed far better to be born to labor and nomadic hardened hand, than nursed at ease and brought to understand a sad astrology, the boundless plan that makes you tyrants in your iron skies, innumerable, pitiless, passionless eyes, cold fires, yet with power to burn and brand his nothingness into man. But now shine on, and what care I, who in the stormy gulf have found a pearl the counter-charm of space and hollow sky, and do accept my madness, and would die to save from some slight shame one simple girl? 6. Would die. For sullen seeming death may give more life to love than is or ever was in our low world, where yet 'tis sweet to live. Let no one ask me how it came to pass. It seems that I am happy, that to me a livelier emerald twinkles in the grass, a purer sapphire melts into the sea. 7. not die, but live a life of truest breath, and teach true life to fight with mortal wrongs. Oh, why should love, like men in drinking songs, spice his fair banquet with the dust of death? Make answer, Maud my bliss, Maud made my Maud by that long loving kiss, life of my life, wilt thou not answer this? The dusky strand of death enwoven here with dear love's tie, makes love himself more dear. 8. Is that enchanted moan only the swell of the long waves that roll in yonder bay? And hark the clock within, the silver knell of 12 sweet hours that passed in bridal white, and died to live, long as my pulses play. But now by this my love has closed her sight, and given false death her hand, and stolen away to dreamful wastes where footless fancies dwell among the fragments of the golden day. May nothing there her maiden grace affright. Dear heart, I feel with thee the drowsy spell. My bride-to-be, my evermore delight, my own heart's heart, my ownest own, farewell. It is but for a little space I go, and ye meanwhile far over moor and fell beat to the noiseless music of the night. Has our whole earth gone nearer to the glow of your soft splendors that you look so bright? I have climbed nearer out of lonely hell. Beat, happy stars, timing with things below, beat with my heart more blessed than heart can tell, blessed, but for some dark undercurrent woe that seems to draw, but it shall not be so, let all be well, be well. 19 I her brother is coming back tonight, breaking up my dream of delight. 2. My dream? Do I dream of bliss? I have walked thee awake with truth. Oh, when did a morning shine so rich in atonement as this for my dark dawning youth, darkened thee watching a mother decline, and that dead man at her heart and mine, for who was left to watch her but I? Yet so did I let my freshness die. 3. I trust that I did not talk to gentle Maud in our walk, for often in lonely wanderings I have cursed him even to lifeless things, but I trust that I did not talk, not touch on her father's sin. I am sure I did but speak of my mother's faded cheek when it slowly grew so thin, that I felt she was slowly dying, vexed with lawyers and harassed with debt, for how often I caught her with eyes all wet, shaking her head at her son and sighing a world of trouble within. 4. And Maud too, Maud was moved to speak of the mother she loved as one scarce less forlorn, dying abroad and it seems apart from him who had ceased to share her heart, and ever mourning over the feud, the household fury sprinkled with blood by which our houses are torn. How strange was what she said, when only Maud and the brother hung over her dying bed, that Maud's dark father and mine had bound us one to the other, betrothed us over their wine, on the day when Maud was born. Sealed her mind from her first sweet breath. Mine, mine by right, from birth till death. Mine, mine our fathers have sworn. But the true blood spilt had in it a heat to dissolve the precious seal on a bond, that, if left unconcealed, had been so sweet, and none of us thought of as something beyond, a desire that awoke in the heart of the child, as it were a duty done to the tomb, to be friends for her sake, to be reconciled. And I was cursing them in my doom, and letting a dangerous thought run wild, while often abroad in the fragrant gloom of foreign churches I see her there, bright English lily, breathing a prayer to be friends, to be reconciled. 6. But then what a flint is he! Abroad, at Florence, at Rome, I find whenever she touched on me this brother had laughed her down, and at last, when each came home, he had darkened into a frown, chid her, and forbid her to speak to me, her friend of the years before. And this was what had reddened her cheek when I bowed to her on the moor. 7. Yet Maud, although not blind to the faults of his heart and mind, I see she cannot but love him, and says he is rough but kind, and wishes me to approve him, and tells me, when she lay sick once, with a fear of worse, that he left his wine and horses and play, sat with her, read to her, night and day, and tended her like a nurse. 8. Kind? But the deathbed desire spurned by this air of the liar, rough but kind? Yet I know he has plotted against me in this, that he plots against me still. Kind to Maud? That were not amiss. Well, rough but kind. Why, let it be so, for shall not Maud have her will? 9. For, Maud, so tender and true, as long as my life endures I feel I shall owe you a debt, that I never can hope to pay. and if ever I should forget that I owe this debt to you and for your sweet sake to yours. Oh then, what then shall I say? If ever I should forget, may God make me more wretched than ever I have been yet. So now I have sworn to bury all this dead body of hate. I feel so free and so clear by the loss of that dead weight, that I should grow light-headed, I fear, fantastically merry. But that her brother comes, like a blight on my fresh hope, to the hall tonight. XXI strange, that I felt so gay, strange, that I tried today to beguile her melancholy. The Sultan, as we name him, she did not wish to blame him, but he vexed her and perplexed her with his worldly talk and folly. Was it gentle to reprove her for stealing out of view from a little lazy lover who but claims her as his due? Or for chilling his caresses by the coldness of her manners, nay, the plainness of her dresses? Now I know her but in two, nor can pronounce upon it if one should ask me whether the habit, hat, and feather, or the frock and gypsy bonnet be the neater and completer. For nothing can be sweeter than maiden Maud in either. 2. But tomorrow, if we live, our ponderous squire will give a grand political dinner to half the squirelings near. And Maud will wear her jewels, and the bird of prey will hover, and the titmouse hope to win her with his chirp at her ear. 3. A grand political dinner to the men of many acres, a gathering of the tarry, a dinner and then a dance for the maids and marriage makers, and every eye but mine will glance at Maud in all her glory. 4. For I am not invited, but, with the Sultaness' pardon, I am all as well delighted, for I know her own rose garden, and mean to linger in it till the dancing will be over. And then, oh then, come out to me for a minute, but for a minute, come out to your own true lover, that your true lover may see your glory also, and render all homage to his own darling, Queen Maud in all her splendor. 21 Rivulet crossing my ground, and bringing me down from the hall this garden rose that I found, forgetful of Maud and me, and lost in trouble and moving round here at the head of a tinkling fall, and trying to pass to the sea. O rivulet, born at the hall, my Maud has sent it by thee. If I read her sweet will write on a blushing mission to me, saying in odor and color, ah, be among the roses tonight. XXII I come into the garden, Maud, for the black bat, night, has flown. Come into the garden, Maud, I am here at the gate alone. And the woodbine spices are wafted abroad, and the musk of the rose is blown. 2. For a breeze of morning moves, and the planet of love is on high, beginning to feign in the light that she loves on a bed of daffodil sky, to feign in the light of the sun she loves, to faint in his light, and to die. 3. All night have the roses heard the flute, violin, bassoon. All night has the casement jessamine sturdy to the dancers dancing in tune, till a silence fell with the waking bird, and a hush with the setting moon. 4. I said to the lily, there is but one with whom she has heart to be gay. When will the dancers leave her alone? She is weary of dance and play. Now half to the setting moon are gone, and half to the rising day. Low on the sand and loud on a stone the last wheel echoes away. I said to the rose, the brief night goes in babble and revel and wine. O young lord lover, what sighs are those, for one that will never be thine? But mine, so I swear to the rose, forever and ever, mine. 6. And the soul of the rose went into my blood, as the music clashed in the hall. And long by the garden lake I stood, for I heard your rivulet fall from the lake to the meadow and on to the wood, our wood, that is dearer than all. 7. From the meadow your walks have left so sweet that whenever March wind sighs he sets the jewel print of your feet in violets blue as your eyes, to the woody hollows in which we meet in the valleys of paradise. 8. The slender acacia would not shake one long milk bloom on the tree. The white lake blossom fell into the lake as the pimpernel dozed on the lea. But the rose was awake all night for your sake, knowing your promise to me. The lilies and roses were all awake, they sighed deep for the dawn and thee. 9. Queen Rose of the Rosebud garden of girls, come hither, the dances are done, in gloss of satin and glimmer of pearls, Queen Lily and Rose in one. Shine out, little head, sunning over with curls, to the flowers, and be their sun. There has fallen a splendid tear from the passion flower at the gate. She is coming, my dove, my dear. She is coming, my life, my fate. The red rose cries, she is near, she is near. And the white rose weeps, she is late. The larkspur listens, I hear, I hear. And the lily whispers, I wait. 11. She is coming, my own, my sweet. Were it ever so Ariat tread, my heart would hear her and beat. Were it earth in an earthy bed, my dust would hear her and beat. Had I lain for a century dead, would start and tremble under her feet, and blossom in purple and red. Part 2. The fault was mine, the fault was mine. Why am I sitting here so stunned and still, plucking the harmless wild flower on the hill? It is this guilty hand. And there rises ever a passionate cry from underneath in the darkening land. What is it that has been done? O dawn of Eden, bright over earth and sky, the fires of hell break out of thy rising sun, the fires of hell and of hate. For she, sweet soul, had hardly spoken a word, when her brother ran in his rage to the gate. He came with the babe-faced lord. Heaped he on her terms of disgrace, and while she wept, and I strove to be cool, he fiercely gave me the lie, till I with as fierce an anger spoke, and he struck me, madman, over the face, struck me before the languid fool, who is gaping and grinning by, struck for himself an evil stroke, wrought for his house an irredeemable woe. For front to front in an hour we stood, and a million horrible bellowing echoes broke from the red-ribbed hollow behind a wood, and thundered up into heaven the chrysalis code, that must have life for a blow. Ever and ever afresh they seemed to grow. Was it he lay there with the fading eye? The fault was mine, he whispered, fly. Then glided out of the joyous wood the ghastly wraith of one that I know. And there rang on a sudden a passionate cry, a cry for a brother's blood. It will ring in my heart and my ears, till I die, till I die. 2. Is it gone? My pulses beat. What was it? A lying trick of the brain. Yet I thought I saw her stand, a shadow there at my feet, high over the shadowy land. It is gone. And the heavens fall in a gentle rain, when they should burst and drown with deluging storms the feeble vassals of wine and anger and lust, the little hearts that know not how to forgive. Arise, my God, and strike, for we hold thee just. Strike dead the whole weak race of venomous worms, that sting each other here in the dust. We are not worthy to live. 2. I see what a lovely shell, small and pure as a pearl, lying close to my foot, frail, but a work divine, made so fairly well with delicate spire and whorl, how exquisitely minute, a miracle of design. 2. What is it? A learned man could give it a clumsy name. Let him name it who can, the beauty would be the same. 3. The tiny cell is forlorn, void of the little living will that made it stir on the shore. Did he stand at the diamond door of his house in a rainbow frill? Did he push, when he was uncurled, a golden foot or a fairy horn through his dim water world? 4. Slight, too, he crushed with a tap of my fingernail on the sand, small, but a work divine, frail, but a force to withstand, year upon year, the shock of cataract seas that snap the three-decker's oaken spine athwart the ledges of rock, here on the Breton strand. The Breton, not Britain. Here like a shipwrecked man on a coast of ancient fable and fear, plagued with a flitting to and fro, a disease, a hard mechanic ghost that never came from on high nor ever arose from below, but only moves with the moving eye, flying along the land and the main. Why should it look like Maud? Am I to be overawed by what I cannot but know is a juggle born of the brain? 6. Back from the Breton coast, sick of a nameless fear, back to the dark sea line looking, thinking of all I have lost. An old song vexes my ear, but that of Lamech is mine. 7. For years, a measureless ill, for years, forever, to part, but she would love me still. And as long, O God, as she have a grain of love for me, so long, no doubt, shall I nurse in my dark heart, however weary, a spark of will not to be trampled out. 8. Strange, that the mind, when fraught with a passion so intense, one would think that it well might drown all life in the eye, that it should, by being so overwrought, suddenly strike on a sharper sense for a shell, or a flower, little things which else would have been passed by. And now I remember, when he lay dying there, I noticed one of his many rings, for he had many, poor worm, and thought it is his mother's hair. 9. Who knows if he be dead? whether I need have fled? Am I guilty of blood? However this may be, comfort her, all things good, while I am over the sea. Let me and my passionate love go by, but speak to her all things holy and high, whatever happened to me. Me and my harmful love go by, but come to her waking, find her asleep, powers of the height, powers of the deep, and comfort her though I die. 3. Courage, poor heart of stone. I will not ask thee why thou canst not understand that thou art left forever alone. Courage, poor stupid heart of stone. Or if I ask thee why, care not thou to reply, she is but dead, and the time is at hand when thou shalt more than die. For I owe that 'twere possible after long grief and pain to find the arms of my true love round me once again. 2. When I was wont to meet her in the silent woody places by the home that gave me birth, we stood tranced in long embraces mixed with kisses sweeter than anything on earth. 3. A shadow flits before me, not thou, but like to thee, ah Christ, that it were possible for one short hour to see the souls we loved, that they might tell us what and where they be. 4. It leads me forth at evening, it lightly winds and steals in a cold white robe before me, when all my spirit reels at the shouts, the leagues of lights, and the roaring of the wheels. Half the night I waste and sighs, half in dreams I sorrow after the delight of early skies. In a wakeful doze I sorrow for the hand, the lips, the eyes, for the meeting of the morrow, the delight of happy laughter, the delight of low replies. 6. 'Tis a morning pure and sweet, and a dewy splendor falls on the little flower that clings to the turrets and the walls. 'Tis a morning pure and sweet, and the light and shadow fleet. She is walking in the meadow, and the woodland echo rings. In a moment we shall meet. She is singing in the meadow, and the rivulet at her feet ripples on in light and shadow to the ballad that she sings. 7. Do I hear her sing as of old, my bird with the shining head, my own dove with the tender eye? But there rings on a sudden a passionate cry, there is someone dying or dead, and a sullen thunder is rolled. For a tumult shakes the city, and I wake, my dream is fled. In the shuddering dawn, behold, without knowledge, without pity, by the curtains of my bed that abiding phantom cold. 8. Get thee hence, nor come again, mix not memory with doubt, pass, thou death-like type of pain, pass and cease to move about. 'Tis the blot upon the brain that will show itself without. 9. Then I rise, the eve drops fall, and the yellow vapors choke the great city sounding wide. The day comes, a dull red ball wrapped in drifts of lurid smoke on the misty river tide. Through the hubbub of the market I steal, a wasted frame, it crosses here, it crosses there, through all that crowd confused and loud, the shadow still the same. And on my heavy eyelids my anguish hangs like shame. 11. Alas for her that met me, that heard me softly call, came glimmering through the laurels at the quiet even fall, in the garden by the turrets of the old manorial hall. 12. Would the happy spirit descend, from the realms of light and song, in the chamber or the street, as she looks among the blessed, should I fear to greet my friend or to say forgive the wrong, or to ask her, take me, sweet, to the regions of thy rest? 13. But the broad light glares and beats, and the shadow flits and fleets and will not let me be. And oh, the squares and streets, and the faces that one meets, hearts with no love for me, always I long to creep into some still cavern deep, there to weep, and weep, and weep my whole soul out to thee. I dead, long dead, long dead. And my heart is a handful of dust, and the wheels go over my head, and my bones are shaken with pain, for into a shallow grave they are thrust, only a yard beneath the street, and the hoofs of the horses beat, the hoofs of the horses beat into my scalp and my brain, with never an end to the stream of passing feet, driving, hurrying, marrying, burying, clamor and rumble, and ringing and clatter, and here beneath it is all as bad, for I thought the dead had peace, but it is not so. To have no peace in the grave, is that not sad? But up and down and to and fro, ever about me the dead men go, and then to hear a dead man chatter is enough to drive one mad. 2. Wretchedest age, since time began, they cannot even bury a man, and though we paid our tithes in the days that are gone, not a bell was rung, not a prayer was read. it is that which makes us loud in the world of the dead. There is none that does his work, not one. A touch of their office might have sufficed, but the churchmen fain would kill their church, as the churches have killed either Christ. 3. See, there is one of us sobbing, no limit to his distress, and another, a lord of all things, praying to his own great self, as I guess, and another, a statesman there, betraying his party secret, fool, to the press, and yonder a vile physician, blabbing the case of his patient, all for what? To tickle the maggot born in an empty head, and wheedle a world that loves him not, for it is but a world of the dead. 4. Nothing but idiot gabble. For the prophecy given of old and then not understood, has come to pass as foretold. Not let any man think for the public good, but babble, merely for babble. For I never whispered a private affair within the hearing of cat or mouse, no, not to myself in the closet alone, but I heard it shouted at once from the top of the house. Everything came to be known. Who told him we were there? Not that grey old wolf, for he came not back from the wilderness, full of wolves, where he used to lie. He has gathered the bones for his o'ergrown whelp to crack. Crack them now for yourself, and howl, and die. 6. Prophet, curse me the blabbing lip, and curse me the British vermin, the rat. I know not whether he came in the Hanover ship, but I know that he lies and listens mute in an ancient mansion as crannies and holes. Arsenic, arsenic, sure, would do it, except that now we poison our babes, poor souls. It is all used up for that. 7. Tell him now, she is standing here at my head. Not beautiful now, not even kind. He may take her now, for she never speaks her mind, but is ever the one thing silent here. She is not of us, as I divine. She comes from another stiller world of the dead, stiller, not fairer than mine. 8. But I know where a garden grows, fairer than aught in the world beside, all made up of the lily and rose that blow by night, when the season is good, to the sound of dancing music and flutes. It is only flowers, they had no fruits, and I almost fear they are not roses, but blood. For the keeper was one, so full of pride, he linked a dead man there to a spectral bride. For he, if he had not been a sultan of brutes, would he have that hole in his side? 9. But what will the old man say? He laid a cruel snare in a pit to catch a friend of mine one stormy day. Yet now I could even weep to think of it. For what will the old man say when he comes to the second corpse in the pit? Ex-friend, to be struck by the public foe, then to strike him and lay him low, that were a public merit, far, whatever the Quaker holds, from sin. But the red life spilt for a private blow, I swear to you, lawful and lawless war are scarcely even akin. 11. Oh me, why have they not buried me deep enough? Is it kind to have made me a grave so rough, me, that was never a quiet sleeper? Maybe still I am but half dead. Then I cannot be wholly dumb. I will cry to the steps above my head, and somebody, surely, some kind heart will come to bury me deeper, ever so little deeper. Part 3. 6. My life has crept so long on a broken wing through cells of madness, haunts of horror and fear, that I come to be grateful at last for a little thing. My mood has changed, for it fell at a time of year when the face of night is fair on the dewy downs, and the shining daffodil dies, and the charioteer and starry Gemini hang like glorious crowns over Orion's grey low down in the west, that like a silent lightning under the stars she seemed to divide in a dream from a band of the blessed, and spoke of a hope for the world in the coming wars, and in that hope, dear soul, let trouble have rest, knowing I tarry for thee, and pointed to Mars as he glowed like a ruddy shield on a lioness' breast. 2. And it was but a dream, yet it yielded a dear delight to have looked though but in a dream, upon eyes so fair, that had been in a weary world my one thing bright. And it was but a dream, yet it lightened my despair when I thought that a war would arise in defense of the right, that an iron tyranny now should bend or cease, the glory of manhood stand on his ancient height, nor Britain's one sole god be the millionaire, no more shall commerce be all in all, and peace pipe on her pastoral hillock a languid note, and watch her harvest ripen, her herd increase, nor the cannon bullet rust on a slothful shore, and the cobweb woven across the cannon's throat shall shake its threaded tears in the wind no more. 3. And as months ran on and rumor of battle grew, it is time, O passionate heart, said I, for I cleaved to a cause that I felt to be pure and true. It is time, O passionate heart and morbid eye, that old hysterical mock disease should die. And I stood on the giant deck and mixed my breath with the loyal people shouting a battle cry, till I saw the drear phantom arise and fly far into the north, and battle, and seas of death. 4. Let it go or stay, so I wake to the higher aims of a land that has lost for a little her lust of gold, and a love of a peace that was full of wrongs and shames, horrible, hateful, monstrous, not to be told. And hail once more to the banner of battle unrolled though many a light shall darken, and many shall weep for those that are crushed in the clash of jarring claims, yet God's just wrath shall be wreaked on a giant lyre. And many a darkness into the light shall leap, and shine in the sudden making of splendid names, and noble thought be freer under the sun, and the heart of a people beat with one desire. For the peace, that I deemed no peace, is over and done, and now by the side of the black in the Baltic deep, and deathful grinning mouths of the fortress, flames the blood-red blossom of war with the heart of fire. Let it flame or fade, and the war roll down like a wind. We have proved we have hearts in a cause, we are noble still, and myself have awaked, as it seems, to the better mind. It is better to fight for the good than to rail at the ill. I have felt with my native land, I am one with my kind, I embrace the purpose of God, and the doom assigned